ball over 21 times, but you weren't able to convert. Mizzou was able to convert on some of those. What were you doing defensively to kind of limit those, especially when they were advantageous on turnovers and steals?
I think it's a statistical anomaly what happened. I told our guys that at halftime. It was a little better in the second half, not dramatically better. Fastest team in the league, 8th fastest team in the country. 44% of their shots have been from 3 in conference play. They're second in the league in 3-point field goal percentage. One of the lower turnover rates in the country. Top 10 efficient offense in Division I. And we were feeding that at a very high rate. I thought we did do a good job in a broken floor of at least trying to get back. When we didn't turn it over, we were fine. Our offensive rebound percentage was good. We eventually got to the bonus first in the second half, which helped us. But if you just look at the numbers, I think it's a statistical anomaly that we were able to be in a position for this to be a game.
Missouri had a couple of periods there in the second half where they kind of threatened to make some runs, threatened to chip away into the lead. What were you doing well to counter that, to stop those?
They're just so difficult to guard. I think they're an outlier in the league. I think the preparation required to play against them is different than any of the other 12 teams that we play. I think Coach has done, he's Coach of the Year in the SEC. I think what he's done relative to the complexion of the roster, what he did in non-conference play, and then what's changed in this arena, just that should make him Coach of the Year. But I think how he utilizes their players, they're just really hard to guard. And I know that 24 gets a lot of attention, and he's for sure worthy of it. And during his time here with both coaches, he's continued to improve his body, his game. But it's not just 24. It's the stress that all of them put on you because they play so much of their possessions 5 guys behind the 3-point line. And then I know CY is doing a lot of the defensive stuff. You never know what they're doing. Is it zone? Is it man? Are they trapping? Are they not trapping? Is it going to be zone and fall back to man? Is it going to be man the entire possession? And so you're just never comfortable. And so you're out of rhythm when you're on offense. And then they force you to make decisions on who you're going to play defensively because it's hard to play against 5 guys outside the 3-point line over and over. And even in the half court, the things that they're doing force your team to make different execution decisions than they ever do. I mean, they're setting ball screens for 24. Every other team you play in our league, a player that's 24 size is setting the ball screen, right? And they're just a difficult prep and a difficult guard because of how they play.
With that in mind, then, how pleased are you to come away with the result?
I think we're very, I don't know if lucky is the right word. I think playing at this level is so hard. But when you turn the ball over at the rate we did, that's hard to overcome. But I do think when we didn't turn the ball over, we did really well. And then I think defensively, our staff did a fantastic job of studying what they did the last time. And, it's been 12 games since we played them. So they're a much more fluid team than they were when we played them, particularly offensively. And I think they've accrued so many reps in what they do defensively, they're much more confident in it. And so our staff did a really good job of our practice itinerary. We played Wednesday night late, so we weren't able to have real practice on Thursday. So the only prep that we had on the court was yesterday before we traveled here, and then this morning in shoot around. So our guys carried the plan to the court at a really high rate, but our staff did a really good job of what did we do the first game? and then what's changed and what they do, and how are we going to adjust.
Coach, you guys won the rebounding battle 41-23 tonight. You know, what kind of went into winning that margin by 18?
It's so critical for us. And I understand the numbers. We play percentages more than we do numbers. Our offensive rebound percentage before it went analytically final was 59%. That's a big part of what helped us overcome our turnover rate. And then I also think that we did a really good job on the defensive glass. They shoot so many threes. So going into the game, I think they were shooting 44% from three. 44% of their shots were from three, and they were making 37% of them. So they were averaging shooting 25 balls from three and making 9. So that means there's 16 long rebounds. So your guards have got to stay in the mix. And so our defensive rebound percentage in many respects was just as important as our offensive one.
Well, as obviously Dexter kind of had a big start to the game, and he kind of had a double-double last game. What have you kind of liked about his progression?
His story is not being told at the rate that it should. The impact he's had on our program, I have never seen in my career as a head coach. He had an internship that he had to do this summer, so he wasn't able to even be a part of what we do in the summer. So he showed up the first day of school. And what he's been able to do for our program/team, everybody has done a lot of good things, but the impact that he's had, it's hard to argue on both ends of the floor that we wouldn't be where we are without him. He has a competitiveness that is rarely seen. He is the same exact person every single day. He's the best listener I've ever coached. If you tell him something once, he will do it from that point forward. And he is a great teammate. There were 3 times in the game against Arkansas, he said, "Coach, I need you to take me out. I'm not playing well." And I go, "Well, are you making that decision or am I making that decision? Because even sometimes when you play what you think is bad, it may be better than what we can put in." Because he does so many things that are not in the stat sheet. But defensively, he's guarding the best player. I believe going into tonight's game, he was in the top 8 in rebounding, and he was 8th, and he was the only guard. The other 7 above him were forwards. He's just one of the more competitive people I've ever been able to be around.
As you mentioned, a couple more, some kind of countering the turnovers tonight. It seemed on a couple plays that when Missouri would get those fast breaks, you had guys kind of in the way that were able to prevent some of those easy baskets. Was that kind of by design or just players kind of?
It was an important get-back game. How we go about rebounding is probably too complex at times, and we're not very good at it any year in November and December. We almost treat rebounding as a subcategory, just like most programs handle offense and defense. We coach it, we teach it, we stat it. There are specific metrics. There's a rebounding effort report card that we do every game. It's the thing that I coach. It's my bucket. Coach Lair on my staff helps me the most with it. But in this game, relative to what we were doing on the glass, there was a premium. We call it a get-back guy. So depending upon who shoots, depending upon where they shoot, in that moment in time, there's certain guys that their responsibility is to get back. And it's just like a report card. What was your grade? There was a premium tonight that we needed to have 100% get back. Because if you have an 88% get back, you're going to give up snowbirds. You're going to give up dunks.
Coach, last thing, what helped y'all to pull away and go on that big run at the end of the first half that seemed to put Mizzou kind of...
Well, I think we slowed down our turnover rate to some degree. And I think because we weren't turning it over and playing in a broken floor, percentage-wise, we were scoring at a higher clip. And so the game was more, hey, they're taking the ball out of the net, and now our defense is set. And so it became more of the way we preferred to play instead of the way they prefer to play. You guys tell me the top 3 School of Journalism graduates from Missouri that I would know.
Pat 40. Yeah.
All right,
Ray Thompson.
say it again.
Ray Thompson.
He's an elite writer. One of the top 3 writers that covers sports. Who else?
David Ubben.
Who?
David Ubben writes for the Athletic, college football guy.
You guys need to do a better job of knowing who those people are. And my role when I was your age was doing what you're doing at a junior college. And so if I could give you any advice, whoever those people are that you just mentioned, it took you too long to know who they are. And instead of knowing 3, you need to know 13. And so you need to set a meeting with all your journalism teachers and ask them the question I just asked you. And you guys, during your tenure here, as well as you're doing in these reps that you're getting, you need to start developing a relationship with those people, because the industry that you're going into is pretty much dead. And so the industry that you're talking about, Pat 40, Riot, those guys, you're trying to replace them, but the numbers are shrinking. So you got to build relationships so you have a head start to your career.
Thanks, Coach.